It's another episode of the Brett Allen Show. Thanks for watching and listening. And today we're talking about a fun little ditty dropping on the 21st of September on Peacock, Meet Cute. I had an opportunity to screen this. This is just, what we need right now. We're chatting with one of the stars, Deborah S. Craig. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me on your show. I'm excited to talk about Meet Cute. It's such a wonderful film, and I'm so happy to be part of it.
Yeah, it is just great. It's fun. It's hilarious. it just has all the things that you would want in a romantic comedy. So let's talk about your involvement in it. It's such a great show. What sort of interested you in it, and how did the project come about for you?
Well, great question. I read the script and I loved the script. I thought Noga did an amazing job, and it just sucked me in. And I just sort of loved the messaging she had in it about love and not giving up on people, and how we can all sort of help each other to succeed. And I feel like June really has a part in being like, okay, I'll help you not give up on each other. And so there was that. And then Alex Lehman, I was a big fan of his work as well, and his directing style. He really gets intimate with his actors, gets to know them, and then they're really transparent on screen. And I feel like you see something that you haven't seen from that person before. And I was excited to work with him. The cast director, Amy Renee, she had brought me in for this and was really great. And that's how and then I auditioned for it. We were still in the pandemic. I self-taped for it. And that's how I came on board.
Yeah. And I was going to ask you about that, because as I was doing research for it and reading about the director and things like that, he definitely is more hands-on, I think, than most when it comes to a lot of projects. Was that sort of a different experience for you having, every director is different. Some are from afar, some are up close, but this one in particular seems to really just get into the trenches, so to speak, with his actors, and really just sort of get on as hands-on as you possibly can. And you do see that transparency through the characters, your character, Pete Davidson. Just the whole thing all the way around.
Right. First of all, you're right. And I think he does get in the trenches with you. And I feel fortunate. I've worked with so many amazing directors, and they all bring something different. But he in particular does this thing where he really preps you before the movie. He gets to know you. You have these great conversations about the character, about the script. And he gets to know you so well that by the time you're on set, you think oh, it's so nice. He just wants you to be prepared and feel comfortable. But it's really his secret weapon, because then he knows you and you get on set and he knows if you're giving anything that's a tiny bit of BS. He can see right, he already knows you. So he's like, I know that's not really your most authentic voice in that moment, and that you can do more. And he asks you to bring more, which is challenging but fun, because then as an actor, you get to grow, you get to discover things, and that's all you can ever ask for, is to become a better storyteller.
I love that, the storytelling part, but also I like it. It's a secret weapon, because you're like, you become, I guess if, they did that and told you kind of beforehand what to expect, it probably wouldn't work quite as well. But when they can put a move on you as an actor, so to speak, and go, hey, wait a second, you're like acting there in that moment and not being true.
He's like, I know you. I know I know you could do better. You're like, okay, I will, because you're right.
That's hilarious. It has to be humbling too as an actor, I guess, because like I said before, I know on some projects, it's like you do your best and you act and you tell the story. But when you're doing a love story, I think that's one of the things about this one in particular, is that you really do see the authenticity coming through, and you look at it and go, this is something that could happen, or probably has happened. I've never had a meet cute. I don't know if you have, but I think, it's very honest. And I think that's what makes it a great story, in my opinion.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah, I think it's really honest. I think everyone really brought their best work, and we had just, gotten to the point of being able to start working again. So I think that people were also really grateful to be creating and being able to make a film. And I feel like you can feel that, the heart of we want to connect. We want to, be in this bubble and make something. That was really special and a real gift, during a time where you're like, will I ever work with people again?
I
I
know.
don't know. Maybe I'll just talk to my computer some more and my
Well,
plan.
that's hilarious. Well, I mean, yeah, and I imagine too, when people were starting to come back and do projects, after a couple false starts, it just had to feel really good to create something that I think a lot of people are going to enjoy. You know what I mean? And especially now with so much content to choose from, it's nice to have something that is a little bit lighthearted and funny, but also has meaning. And I think that's what people want, to be, suspended for an hour or two, and not think about the problems of their life or the world for that matter.
Yeah. And then also I hope that you also enjoyed, like, I think it's such a beautiful love letter to New York, and I love New York so much, but I think that they really captured the city so beautifully, the DP and the cinematographers. I just think, it's a whole character in the story, as it should be. And I was like, oh, I'm seeing the city again in a different way. And it does make me feel romantic and want to wander around and be like, oh, maybe I'll just, and also wonder if there are time machines in the back of nail salons that I go to.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, if there can be
Love it.
law firms, there can be, you got that. There could be time machines. So I want to wind the clock a little bit back and kind of start with your journey as an actor, sort of where that process became for you and began for you, and what sort of interested you in becoming a storyteller.
Thanks for caring, Brett. I I started off as a pianist and a singer. I was a classical pianist for a long time, and I love music, and so most storytelling to me has some sort of music in it.
Hmm.
There's ebb and flow, there's dynamic and emotions and internal monologues and external monologues, and so I don't know. There's a lot of connection to music even in acting. But I started off as a musician, and then I just didn't like being isolated and playing all the time, and so I really started to discover theater as a kid, and was singing and acting I acted in the school production when I was 5. I was a frog. It was a pretty great role. And I just loved it so much. I loved the community. I liked creating with other people. And I just kind of did all of the things for a long time. And then when it sort of came to the point of like college, and I was like, do I stay a pianist and go that route? Or do I, segue into, or do I just focus on theater and musical theater and acting? And my beloved late piano teacher was like, was married to an actress. His name was Robert McDonald, and he was like, go and be an actor. And he supported me and wrote a letter to help me get into the theater program, and was totally, and spent all these years training me to be a classical pianist, and was still like, totally go be an actor. It was such a gift and so kind. Did not feel like that he had downloaded all this classical piano training into me, and that it wasn't going to go somewhere.
Yeah, and the rest is history. Here you are with this fantastic project, which will be available on the 21st on Peacock. If you don't have Peacock, I mean, it's just one more streaming app to add to your repertoire, and well worth it, because this is definitely one that you won't want to miss. And I don't know, I think as we kind of wrap here, I agree with you. It's New York is such a beautiful city, and it really sort of, I think, might spring hope for a lot of people,
Yeah.
that anything is possible, right? And I think that's the paper on which the love letter is written for this project.
Beautifully said. Yes. We can all be open to a meet cute, and we don't have to just be classical pianists.
I love it. Well, be sure to check our guest Deborah on this fantastic project and all the other great things that she's been a part of. Thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on, Brett.